Good evening. If I feel look a bit blurry-eyed, I did that cardinal sin, having tea, sitting down, watching telly, and falling asleep. And if it wasn't for Rocky, who wanted something, I'd have probably been still asleep. So at the moment, I'm not quite sure if Mastermind Dave is going to be here because he's had his new broadband point today. So a bit higgledy-piggledy. So I don't know if he'll come in. So if he said if he was all up and running, he'd be in, but we don't know yet. Good evening, Richard. How are you? Hope you're well. Looking forward to Saturday. Because yes, Richard and I'll be doing the 1980s number one albums on Saturday. So busy week this week on the channel. 1,555 views this week. Busy week. 7 new subscribers. And guess what's number one in the viewing? Yes. Good evening, Stephen. Oh, I've had the same thing. But going in reversal next from last week, the Beatles live show albums was 65. Mutt Lange 72, but number one last week, the 1970s number one LPs with yours truly and Mr. McCook, 174. The 28 days views, 5,247. Hold on, there's something he wants and it's in my pocket. Yeah, then it's behind you. Wait, no, it's behind you. There you Wally. Hang on, let's just look over there. Look, well done. Anyway, yes, 5,247 views, 20 new subscribers in the last 28 days. Afternoon, Mick. Hello, Ralph. So number 3 most viewed is Nick Cave, 114. Number 2 was David Lee Roth with 126, and straight in at number 1. Of course, it's the 1970s number one LPs at 174. We've now got a staggering 129,513 views, 628 subscribers. We lost 2 and gained some, so even Stevens really. No change in the top. Jethro Tull, Derek Wiggs, and status quo. Now, who do you think won last week's battle of the debuts? It was a close run thing, but when I added it all up, Elton John won by 2 votes. So that was last week. So, as I've said, this week, Saturday, Richard and I will be doing our 1980s number one albums. Monday, first album ranking of the week is a viewer's request, and it's the Canadian trio of Mahogany Rush. One of my favourite bands from Canada. So we'll be ranking their albums. Classic album review next week is a bit of Mike Oldfield, and it's the box set that he brought out. So we're looking at that. And being the last Tuesday of the month, it's Ladies' Day. So we've got a really interesting one for you. We're going to be ranking some albums of probably the first YouTuber I have ever done. And I don't know if anyone's watched it, but there's a young German drummer called Sina. And she has brought out 3 albums of her own music. So I shall be ranking them. And retro ranking on Ladies' Day next week is Amy Winehouse, Wednesday, a Marathon. Boxed. It's the box that's got collaborations in. That's what we're doing, not elements. It's the boxed, the one that's called boxed. One that's got the first three albums remixed, and collaborations. That's what we'll be doing, just to clarify that one. Yes, when next week's marathon is another viewer's request, and we're looking at REM. And next Thursday, Battle of the Debuts. We've got two of the pioneers of electronic music, and that's Jean-Michel Jarre versus Vangelis. Pick and Mix next week is in the camera's view, and it's someone that people have been asking for. We're going to look at Whitesnake Commandos, their performance at the Monsters of Rock from 1983. Live album next week is one for those prog fans. We're going to be looking at Gentle Giant. I mean, looking at the ones that I've got, because there's loads, and there's quite a lot of them are repeated. So we'll be looking at that. New album next week. Tomorrow, there's quite a lot coming out tomorrow. So we're going to be looking at from last week, Wrong Side of Paradise, Black Star Riders. Tomorrow we have got the second part of the Smashing Pumpkins trilogy, Autumn Act 2, and the long-awaited album by, I know one Mick that's we're going to be looking forward to this, Uriah Heep's Chaos and Colours lands tomorrow. So I'll be viewing them next week. So let's have a look into the work in progress. Mr. Bond's coming on nicely. We're now up to 17 soundtracks, so it's GoldenEye to watch this weekend. Gary Newman's near enough done, 14 of the 19. Mr. Bowie, 13 of 26 I've listened to. Van der Graaf Generator, I've done 6 of the 13. Yes, I've heard 2 or 3 good songs off the album. Pretty good. I'm impressed. So looking forward to listening to that tomorrow. The Cause, 4 of 7. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, I've done 4 of the 20. Ash, 5 of the 8. Godley and Cramp, 5 of 7, nearly done. Jeff Beck, 5 of the 14. Temperance Movement, 2 of 3. Dave Brock, 2 of 6. And the other person that's released stuff from Hawkwind, Nick Turner, 2 of 11. Life Signs, I've done 1 of 3. Kepler 10, which I've really enjoyed, 1 of 2. And the Script, 2 of 6. The only one I've completed is Wishbone Ash, which I will be doing as a 2-parter, because there's quite a lot in there. So just like we did with Hawkwind, I will be doing it in 2 parts whenever we get round to doing it. Sort of a Wally of the week this week. Someone told me that I wasn't an Alan Parsons fan, and I don't know what I'm talking about. And I don't do a proper analysis and technical of the songs. I think I do a pretty inclusive of them. I mean, if we went into technicals, well, what was you expecting me to do? Talk about every string that's plucked? Nah. So, yes, he's. I took them down because it got a bit personal. I haven't barred him. I've just taken them down. So that's all the news. Last night, I decided that I'd watch this thing on Prime called 50th Anniversary of Tubular Bells. I thought, oh, this will be good. Put it this way, I switched off halfway through. Because all I'm going to say is, why mend something that isn't broke? I just didn't like the interpretation and what they were doing. And then to add up to it, they had these dancers, well, so-called dancers, who were just coming on stage, lifting each other up. And I thought, oh, what's all that about? So, yes, I'll give that a missed as well. But also, I've been watching stuff I'm ready to do for the in-camera's view. Now, I'm going to do something on the LP, and I wasn't quite sure which concert that's available on DVD. So there was 2. There's 2 that I wouldn't mind. I've decided which one to do now because of one performance by Keith Emerson. I'm not going to go into great detail, but it absolutely freaked me out. So I've decided what Emerson, Lake and Palmer DVD I'm going to review. That was quite good. That's really that was my week. It's been an interesting week. I haven't been too good. I'm not sleeping well. I think that's why I fell asleep this afternoon. I never fall asleep in the afternoon. And if it weren't for Rocky, I'd probably been still snoring my head off. So I'm going to have a pretty strong hazy beer tonight just to keep me sleepy. So if I start nodding off, someone give me a prod. Yeah, going to sort out something on Saturday with Richard. He's going to help me do something. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we're going to have, there should be a bit of fun coming up the next few months. Been sorting out a lot of other stuff as well for the channel. That's about it. Well, if you're wondering where Dave is, Dave's had his new broadband in today, and I'm not quite sure if it's up and running. Because as Richard knows, Northern Ireland, I mean, where Dave is right in the sticks, so I don't know what's going on there. So he said he might not be here. Well, I shall just WhatsApp's happen. Yes, just have a. Yeah, he sent me a message. Internet is up and down like a yo-yo. So I don't think he'll be joining us tonight if it's up and down like a yo-yo. I know he's been busy on the updating the laundry list. I know there's plenty in it. Yeah, hopefully no technical issues this week after last week's. This week's Battle of the Debuts is by two bands that have sort of been compared to each other. It's Vanilla Fudge and Deep Purple. I went for Deep Purple today, probably because they are one of my favourite bands, and I can't really go off kilter with my favourite band. As much as I like Vanilla Fudge, I did prefer the debut of Deep Purple. Good evening, Rob. How are you? No Dave tonight. His internet's playing up because he's had a new one put in, so you just got to put up with me tonight, I'm afraid. Yes. So has everyone watched the number one albums from the 1970s? If you haven't, why not? Because it was a good one. We're doing the 1980s. Yes, Richard. I don't think we can do the 60s because, well, for me, mine's going to be a bit different because I can include bands like Pink Floyd if they've got any, and Zeppelin, but I think it might be a tough one. I'll have another look and see if I can put anything, but I think we might bend the rules on that one. Oh no, there's not too much disco over here. I must admit that I've put together the next US top 10, which is on 9th of February. I enjoyed Cagney and Lacey. Cagney and Lacey. I'm not going to ask what one who you think who's who. Yeah, I would put right. It's Starsky and Hutch. Yeah, that's more like it. Cagney and Lacey. How rude, Rob. Yeah, the 60s could be thing. Unless we bend the rules, we'll discuss it on Saturday. But I must admit, I was struggling. I've got an abundance of bubbling unders for the 80s, just in case we repeat. I can throw some things. I think this week's will be a little bit more. I think this week's will be a little bit more different because I got so many different I mean, my top 3 are actually rock albums. Metal in there. So, thing. You'll be Huggy Bear, will you? I don't know which one I am. Captain Dope. If talking of movies, I've been looking for a movie for a little while. It's a John Wayne one, and I found it on. I found it on Prime, and I've now got it. Brannigan. I brought it. Love Brannigan. Listening to Camel today. I haven't listened to Camel for a little while because I did an intense Camel live. So, what I tend to do, if I've been listening to things for doing the ranking, I don't listen to it for a little while. I mean, at the moment, it's Gentle Giant. And starting to look at the next producer as well, which is, I'll tell you, it's going to be Phil Spector. So I've been listening to some Phil Spector albums as well this week. So I haven't really had a chance to listen to stuff I'm supposed to be listening to because I'm sort of doing a lot of previewing. I've finally put together the tribute show to David Crosby, which is coming up a week after next. But I do recommend, if you're a casual David Crosby fan, there is a box set just called David Crosby Boxed. And it goes through all his cover. Year of the Prog. It's always Year of the Prog in my house. I've always got prog on. I mean, I'm at the moment. I'm listening to Van der Graaf Generator, but I love Van der Graaf Generator, but I can't listen to too many albums at once because they're quite intense. God, I wouldn't know which I would struggle to do a top 10 favorite prog albums. I've got so many I love. Yes, Snow Goose is absolutely brilliant. I like Mirage as well. I like the Mirage album as well. But today, I have listened to Van der Graaf Generator today. I've had Still Life on, and I hadn't played that for a very long time. Forgot what a good album it was. Bring up Rocky. Wait, your fans are wanting you. Where are you? Let's go and see what you're doing. What are you doing? Come here. Everyone wants to say hello to you. There you go. Say hello to everybody then. You can say hello to everybody. There you are. You can say hello to everybody. Everyone saying hello to you, Rock. Oh, dear me. Yeah, he's a lovely boy, isn't you? But with like all wild people and snags, you've got a little skin tag. Don't know if you can see it, but the vet says at the moment he's not affecting him. He won't. Oh, I'm sure they want to see your gob. Yeah, so if he's got a little skin tag at the moment, but it's not affecting him, so we're not going to do anything, are we?
Oh,
Do you know what? I'm going to come back as a dachshund in a good home. Oh, he's, oh. Rock on, Rocky. Good evening, Rock Beast. Hope you're well. Yeah, when this afternoon, when I went shopping with, went shopping today with my mate Lee, and I always leave music on. And I left this afternoon. Rocky was actually listening to Amy Winehouse. Hey, he's here. Yeah. So is it all working now, or is it still temperamental? Go on then, get down then. Oh, Ralph's house for nectar. Band called Nectar. Might be temperamental. Okay, well at least you're here. Guess who fell asleep this afternoon, Dave? I did. Had tea, washed up, cup of coffee, fell asleep in the chair, and if it wasn't for his nibs down there wanting something, I think I'd have been still asleep. Oh, it is on the render. It was quite funny. He didn't bark at me. He got up on the sofa and started nudging me. And then just going like he does. Very clever dog. Sensitive. Oh dear. Yeah. Well, you'll be glad to know, Richard, after last week's when my printer didn't work, I've got my notes written out the good old-fashioned way. Yeah, my ink went on Saturday, so I had to sort of split the screen, but it seemed to work all right. So yeah, I've trying to line up a couple of things a little bit different. No, you can't pay paper and pen. Probably be able to add to it. Do I need to do any on Saturday? Do I need to do the little pictures again for you, or have you got more of the 80s? Oh, deep joy. Well, next week, next Thursday. Oh, thank you. Yeah, what I did when I was playing, you see, I can multitask when I edit ours. I can sort of watch it as it goes along, and while you're talking with your next album, I've got the Googled up, and I just get put it in, and away we go. Yeah, Thursdays. I'll pretty well, the Thursday shows will not be done on Thursday. I shall be doing them in the week because I've got the electrician coming. I've got a dodgy switch, and they gave you the thing. Oh, we'll be here on Thursday, the 2nd of February, sometime between 8 and 6. So I can't do anything because knowing my luck, I'll be recording and he'll turn up during the recording. So the shows for next Thursday will probably be done sometime during the week, but you won't notice. You won't notice. Let's turn that off before that starts blurring out. Yeah, I hate that. Does everyone now hate that when they say, "I will be there between 8 and 6"? So that means you've got to get up and sit around doing nothing all day while they turn up. And they usually turn up either first thing in the morning or last thing. So to make sure I shall pre-record the shows for Thursday. It's a good job they're small ones, so it won't take too long to do. They won't go up till Thursday. I'll probably record them and then edit them while I'm waiting for this electrician to turn up. So they'll go out roughly the same time as normal. Yeah, I'm not happy with Facebook because they've changed something. Now, I've got a Facebook group and a Facebook page. The group is for people to join, and when everyone can just come and have a look. But I've got if I want to post stuff on there, I've got to come out and go in as my personal person because I'm the why do people try and fix springs? Yeah, that's the point. Well, I don't know. I just hope he doesn't. I might get them up as soon as possible then. Somewhere in Time, best album Iron Maiden. I might have to disagree with you there. It's a good album. I saw them on that tour, and they were the brilliant tour. The stage show, the set was brilliant because obviously Steve Harris is a big fan of Blade Runner, and the whole stage was done like Blade Runner. It was fantastic. For those of us that were there, it was really good. I should have recorded that for a DVD, but Ron Smallwood didn't want to do it. That's a good idea. That is a good idea. Peace of Mind is great. I can't remember what my favourite one was. It's a long time since I've done it. I think it was some Seventh Son. I really like that album. I don't know what my bottom ones are. My favourite song on Somewhere in Time, I think it's just it's just attention seeking. So I pulled the blind down. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I've been out in and out today. Yeah, it's already on the list, Stephen. According to Dave. You're going back. The best song on Somewhere in Time is A Stranger in a Strange Land. Absolutely brilliant song. Yeah, well, before I fell asleep, I was actually watching. I was watching this Status Quo tribute band playing the old stuff. I can't believe I fell asleep in it though. Stranger at Wasted Years, yeah, that's a good track. Yeah, I'm losing my memory. I can never remember. So if something goes up and you requested it, say it was me. I've got so many I can't remember. But my next big task is to sort out a birthday top 10. Because someone's got a birthday in February. I've looked to see what the chart is, but I've not. I haven't done anything about it. I haven't really listened to it either. Yeah, I wonder who. I bet you know what your number one was, don't you, Richard? When you were born. But yeah, you do. I know I think I put it together. Let's just check on Spotify. Because it sits in the playlist. All your birthdays sitting in there. Oh yeah, there's some interesting work. There are some interesting ones on Richard's birthday. Yeah. Really interested. Yeah, I listened to that first. Talking to Kepler 10, Stephen. I listened to that first album. What an album! Very Rush, but there's nothing wrong with that. Well, I'm just in what the rock band Status Quo. Yeah, I hate Rocking All Over the World and Burning Bridges. I've got another Status Quo thing coming up, probably in March, but it's a fun one where you get songs that I'm not particularly fond of, and of course, certain tracks will be in there. Yeah, I haven't listened to that one. I'll probably listen to it this week, but all I can say is now I've added Kepler 10 into my Spotify library. That's how good I thought it was. I mean, Saracen I like anyway. Demon I like anyway. Goes back to my days of youth, Demon do. So going back to Rock Beast about the mystery song, that is a great song. Yes, I've heard. I haven't heard it yet, Stephen, but yeah, I've heard So that means there must be a new album due out. It'd be nice if Hot Tigers of Pantone. I think they were quite a good band. But then again, I remember them when they first come out. And a Northampton guitarist was in them in the 80s. Neil Shepherd. He's a Northampton lad. Used to drink in the King Billy. Quite a shy and reserved person is Neil Shepherd. You wouldn't think he was a rock star, or at the time, because he was in the band in '85, and he came back when they put the album, the one album he made. He went on tour with them, and he come back, and he just slouched in the King Billy and got a pint and sat and went and talked to people. And then, you know what, Neil? Good time in America? Yeah. And that was it. Oh, what Mike Oldfield did you get this week? Yeah, don't bother watching that 50th anniversary thing on Prime. Biggest load of tosh, especially the dancers. Bankman and Turner Overtrain. Not half, mate. Let's rock. Everyone will know that. Oh, you don't concentrate, Rob. That's a bit naughty. It's an automatic Hergest Risen door. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I sometimes want it. Hergest Ridge is. I love that album, but I think everyone knows why I like Tubular Bells. Talking of Mike Oldfield, there is going to be a Mike Oldfield special when I can between myself, Richard, and Joe Jamfrey, Joe's Final Universe. We're going to do Mike Oldfield through the decades. We're going to pick our favourite Mike Oldfield from each decade, and I'm going to throw in a wild card as well. I have emailed Joe this week, and he said we'll sort something out. So I'll talk to you more about that one on Saturday. Yes, there is. There's something on his Facebook page and his Twitter feed about that. I've seen pictures. Yeah, that's about right for Camel albums, Rob. Except I did find Mirage at a record fair for a £5. Which I thought was a bargain. But if you like your prog, Stephen, you should like Camel. They're one of the most underrated prog bands in the. Blue Peter, hey, and Portsmouth. I love Mike Oldfield full stop. Yeah, two Jabels 2003. Yeah, it's all right, but it's not. Why fix something that's not broken? Funny you should say that, Stephen, because when I was listening to, I listened to some live signs this week, and I thought, he reminds me of someone, and you've just said Andy Latimer. He's got one of my, and I mean, the drummer Andy Ward is phenomenal. That's cheap for a ticket, but I wonder where that is. Right at the back. Unless it's that blooming thing I saw on television. I mean, on Prime, and if it's that, I wouldn't pay tuppence to go and see that rubbish. Oh God, the Alexander, probably behind a post. Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet. It depends when the recording was done. I mean, obviously, I've got it on the Pulse, but if it's one done from 70 something. '74, well, that might be worth having then. Bit like the Animals box set. But the box set I want to come out, it probably won't come out, and that's, I mean, Status Quo. See you Saturday, Richard. Have a safe one. Have you got the sort of bootleggy one? Because I've got the original EP, which has got 6 tracks on it, but I did manage to get at a fair the 17 track. I managed to get it. That's tremendous, absolutely brilliant. The version of Drifter on there is just amazing. When Iron Maiden used to do short, sharp metal songs with hardly any instrumental bit at the beginning, like now, they're epics, the intros. I mean, some of the ones on Sense Stu are 6 to 7 minutes long. God, they have to bore you to death. I mean, I do like Iron Maiden now, but I just like the old stuff personally. I think my favourite period of Iron Maiden is from the beginning up to the Seventh Son album, in all honesty. No, you can't. I remember going to see Iron Maiden when they did that their first sort of oldie tour, as I call it, and that's when we saw them lads going, "What's all this shit?" Yeah, I can't believe they thought the early stuff was bad. I mean, there was us freaking out to Murders in the Rue Morgue and Where Eagles Dare. No, I don't like Final Frontier. It's just got lots of long intros and thing. I see. I didn't mind the Dance of Death album. There's some good stuff on there. And what's the other one I like? You see, I can't even remember the titles of the later ones. It's that concept-y one, I think. Is that it? I know it's got The Longest Day on. I like that. See, everyone jumps up and down about the Fear of the Dark album. It's all right. And the song Fear of the Dark, again, it's all right. Yeah, I think I've got one. Done in Sweden. Mine's a Swedish, just drop something. Swedish radio broadcast. I think it's at Globen or something. It's pretty good. But I'm not a great fan of Hallowed Be Thy Name. Goes on a bit too long. Yeah, it's a pretty good concert, that is. You see, I prefer Children of the Damned on the Number of the Beast album to Hallowed Be Thy Name. And why they didn't put Twilight Zone on the album, Total Eclipse, sorry, on the album and left off Invaders is a cardinal sin. Much better song. Great live. 22 Acacia Avenue, yeah. Charlotte the Harlot Part 2. It's just a shame that Martin Birch wasn't able to produce the first Iron Maiden album. Because if Martin Birch would have produced the debut album, that would have been an absolute, it's a killer album as it is. But I think Martin Birch producing it would be absolutely a brilliant. I know they brought a remastered version of the first Iron Maiden album, but I think it's time it was actually redone again, totally remixed, pulled apart, and put together properly. We know it can be done because you take one Marillion Fugazi, they were the remixed version they brought out on that box set is far better than the original album. So yeah, I'm looking forward to when they bring out this Season's End. The album's behind me. Let's move that across there because it's there. That's what we got this week. They're all sort of they're all 80s albums. Some of the theme that I'm doing with Richard. That's the album that I brought that because of that picture. Top right is Crises, yes. Some of them are pretty obvious. Classic Whitesnake one there. What? Come and Get It. That's the one of the original albums. That is. I knew it was coming out. I saved up, and it cost me the mass of $4.99, which was a lot of money in 1982, 81. I had to save up my pocket money. Great cover. It's got some great tracks on it as well. Don't Break My Heart Again's on there. Wine Women and Song. Child of Babylon. Just absolute classics. Everyone forgets about that album, and I think that's one of the great albums from that great lineup of David Coverdale, Ian Pace, Neil Murray, John Lord, Mickey Moody, and Bernie Marsden. What an album that is. All these metal albums, and then you have that there, The Art of Noise. Yeah, I love the earlier stuff as well, but that's what I grew up on. Who's Afraid of the Art of Noise? Reddy and William Good. My favourite, Slide It In, and I mean the proper version, not that American cheesy version. I love Slide It In. But Reddy and Williams, great. Saints and Sinners is brilliant. That's got some great tracks on it. Rough and Ready, love that. And I love the Love Hunter album as well. I think that's a great album. But then he sort of went down the pan a little bit. I mean, I've got them all because I'm a purist and I collect their albums. So I've got all the Whitesnake albums, but the ones that get played a lot, them first albums that to Slide It In, really. I now and again put the 1987 album on. Wild Frontier, yeah. Yeah, but I listened to that this week, or the other week. Was it last week? I don't know. There's a good reason, which you'll find out all about when we have finished doing John Mitchell. Yeah, John Mitchell started that. Slide It In. But I suppose you like the American version. Oh, good. I'm glad you like the original. I'm not very. I'm not very keen on what John Sykes did to some of the tracks. I for Evermore was good. There are some good tracks on the later on, the one or two, but when it comes down to it. Slide It. My favourite track on Slide It In is Gambler off the UK version because it's got a great keyboard solo from Mr. John Lord. I've done Phenomena, Stephen. I'm one of the first shows I ever did, Phenomena. I love Phenomena. especially that first album, brilliant. I mean, you've got Glenn Hughes on it, who's just a legend. Hmm. Yeah, it's on there somewhere. Yeah, I've got all the Phenomena albums. I haven't heard anything of TB4. Where am I going to be able to hear that? YouTube. Yeah. I'll give that a listen and I'll sort of give a reaction to it on Monday when I do the classic album. How's the poll going tonight? Looks like Deep Purple. Everyone's gone for Deep Purple. I think they do. I think it was 50-50 in the community. Last time I looked, 50-50. I just found that Vanilla Fudge album, and I can't believe that's their best-selling album, because some of the slowed down versions of the songs work, but some of them just went on and on and on. There you go, Stephen. Dave's put in the link. Well, that would have been so old. It was probably done on my very first equipment. Because when I first started, I hadn't got a reasonably good camera. So I had to use my video camera, my video recorder camera, with a little handheld thing. Oh, it had been in the first couple of months. Yeah, 22nd of June, 2021. What I'll do over the weekend, for the rest of you that have never heard, I'll put it up in the over the weekend in the community, in the from the vaults, so you can all have a gander at it. I think there's some really good tracks in the playlist as well. Does anyone actually watch the playlists that I put together? I know one or two people do, especially if you've not heard some of the bizarre stuff that I own, because a lot of the obscure stuff is my own personal collection. Especially with this John Mitchell. I mean, you have watched it. Senior moment, Stephen. Senior moment. We all get them. Oh, well, thank you, Mick. I have as much fun putting them together as doing shows. It's always finding the right clips. I know a lot of people, when I've done their birthdays, Yeah, that was my own. I just wanted to get rid of it. It's all off the YouTube library. It's finding the most appropriate bits of music. It's like I've found a piece now what I'm going to use when I do a tribute when someone's passed away. Yeah, I love the music I found to do the album rankings. It's quite a catchy little tune. And to be quite honest, I know I create them, but I prefer the intros now. They look much better and look a little bit more professional. Oh, okay. Yes, I shall keep improving. I shall try. I shall do an update every few years, but I'm quite happy with the way things are at the moment. I like the new fonts, and might be a few tweaks to them if I think something's going to work a bit better. So you might notice now and again there may be a tweak in the intros, but apparently the people don't like intros, according to some Burke on YouTube. They like just go straight in and straight to the point because people switch off. But I like doing my little intros. Gives you a little bit of a taster. And I just like mucking about on my video suite with all my transitions and what have you. All right, folks. I've been going an hour. As I haven't been too well, I'm not sleeping well. I think I'm going to call it a night. Go have an early night tonight. See if I can get some sleep. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and if you're watching this at a later date, thank you very much. I'll be back tomorrow. We've got a long one tomorrow. We've got there's 3 shows, but not long ones. We've got Extreme Life here tomorrow. We're going to be looking at the Strawbs album with Sandy Denny, all our own work, and in prelude to the next week's Smashing Pumpkins Autumn 2 coming out, we're going to have a look at Autumn 1 tomorrow. So thank you very much and a good night.